Hi there, this is the OS 135 or CIS 135, depending on which class you're taking, syllabus for database access. This is a 3-hour class, which means whenever they say 3 hours, it's usually 3 hours in the classroom, and then you take 2 hours for homework for each hour that you're in a class. So please make sure you schedule yourself accordingly. This is an online class only, so we will have no meeting times. Our class dates are 1/14 through 5/6. This is actually a week earlier ending date than most classes because I'm leaving for Finland that Saturday. So I won't be able to finish out like everyone else does. So we'll have our final a week earlier than everyone else. Don't worry, we'll get through all the material. Of course, this is a course in database management, and we're going to do design, report, queries, everything else. Oh, sorry. We have 2 hours lecture, 2 hours lab. Basically what that just means is that we are going to be working quite a bit. We don't have any prerequisites here. Our final exam is due on May 6th online, so you don't necessarily have to be at the school for that. But you could do it ahead of time. My name is Michelle Whitman. Like I said in my introductory video, the online office hour is from 5 to 6, and you'll find an invitation to that in the learning module. Tuesdays, I'm in my office from 10 to 11 and 5 to 6. Wednesdays, 1:30 to 2:30, and Thursdays from 10 to 11. If these times do not meet what you need, let's say you work till 6 o'clock every day and none of these hours meet, please let me know. I can make an arrangement to talk with you either on Wednesday or Thursday night and go over any if you need any help. And then once in a while on Mondays. The books that we'll need is the Microsoft Office Access book, a lesson approach, and then also a card that comes with it. It's called SimNet. If you purchased your book online, you want to make sure that you'll have to go to the SimNet site that I'm going to give you a link to and sign up and pay for the card. It is a requirement because you do homework at the SimNet site. So there's homework, projects, and exams there. So there is no getting around it. It is a large portion of your points. All right, what are we going to be able to do when you leave here? You'll be able to identify database structures, including tables, forms, queries, reports, view and modify records, filter, sort, and use tools, create new databases, manage the data integrity, design queries and do even more advanced, create and modify forms, add and modify reports, build links, relationship and indexes, design advanced queries, forms, and reports, and so on and so forth. So you could see we're going to cover quite a bit in this semester. So my student expectations, this is what I'm asking you to do. For ultimate success in viewing content and working from home, make sure you have a reliable access to a computer with an internet connection and with Access 2010. Your book comes with a trial version, so you should have access to it. If not, you can come to the college and we have it in several classrooms, as well as the big computer lab and the library. So make sure that you have some kind of backup plan if your primary computer fails, and make sure you save your files in a place on your computer, but also on either a large flash drive or an external hard drive to make sure that you have access to those files. Computer issues will not be accepted as an excuse for late work. So you want to make sure that you're getting, you have access and that you're not waiting until the last minute. Please, please, please do not procrastinate. Access takes a long time to get done, so you want to make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time to finish. Blackboard will be used throughout this course for homework submissions, so make sure that you follow the guidelines of turning in some of your homework. You will also be using SimNet to turn in your projects, so just be aware of that. This syllabus may be changed or modified. If conditions indicate a change, you will be notified of any changes by email. Please read your student email. That cannot be used as an excuse for not being aware of any syllabus changes or changes in dates, exam dates, so on and so forth. The homework policy. Homework is due on the date stated in the syllabus and on Blackboard. You will have 1 week to turn in late homework for half the amount of points. So if the homework's worth 50 and you turn it in late, it's worth 25. After week 1, homework will not be accepted. So I am not taking any late work this semester beyond 1 week. I will not take any homework after 1 week. So please do not turn in homework later than 1 week. And this is going to include all projects. All projects. There are some quizzes, but they're given in my on-campus classes, so that's not really required here. But we do have exams. Make sure there are no makeup exams, and you can take your exam. It's open right now, so you have until the due date, but please do not miss one. If you're absent or you missed that exam, I will give you a 0 for that, but the lowest exam score will be dropped. So in other words, if you take 4 exams in this class and you get like a 56 on one of them, don't worry, I'll drop that lowest score. If you miss it altogether, don't worry, I will drop that lowest score. Final exam, you must turn in the final exam by the scheduled day, and so that is May 6th, so you're going to want to do that. Your final project also must be submitted by May 6th, and no late projects or exams will be accepted. You must take your final exam. Instructor withdrawal policy. Hey, one thing, if you have not turned in 50% of the work at the midterm, or if you failed to log into Blackboard for 3 consecutive weeks, I will think that you are not completing this class. And this is at the midterm. So if you're an individual that meets that criteria, you're going to be recommended for withdrawal, and I will administratively withdraw you at the midterm. If after the midterm, let's say you're going along fine at the midterm, but then you decide to drop out of sight, it is your responsibility to withdraw from the class. I will not do that for you. So you must do that yourself. So at the midterm, if you are not working on this class anymore, I will send you an email letting you know that I'm going to administratively drop you, and then I will. And then if after the midterm, let's say you're passing at midterm and you were doing great, but you drop out, it is your responsibility to drop. So please note that. Homework. We'll have 15 SimNet lessons, and I'll talk about SimNet in a different video. End of lesson skills review and lesson applications. This is at the end of the lesson in the book. You will do the skills review and the lesson applications, and that's 15 lessons at 50 points each. You have 3 unit projects, so you have 3 SimNet unit projects at 100 points each, and then 4 SimNet unit exams. That's 4 exams at 100 points each. And there's going to be 1 cumulative final worth 400 points, and then 1 final project due at the end of the semester worth 400 points. So total, there's 2,400 points here, and you can see what you would get. It's a 90, 80, 70, 60 scale. Now, this grading scale guarantees a particular grade, but students whose point totals are close to a decision number will be considered on an individual basis using criteria including homework timeliness, student motivation, improvement, and participation in the class. Your grades won't be mailed out. You want to check on Kish SOS for your grades. The Learning Skills Center has a computer lab, but they do not have a tutor for access. So if you do need some help, you could just let me know and I will be there for you. Again, make sure that you withdraw. I will not give you a W for a final grade. You have to withdraw yourself unless I withdraw you at the midterm for not working on the class. Class cancellations, we probably will not have any of these because we're working from home. One last thing though, if by chance Blackboard is down when you are working on your homework, go ahead and send me your homework by email. If the SimNet site is down and your homework is due, please let me know and I will give you an extension on that date. So if SimNet's not working, now if SimNet's not working, they send me an email through the SimNet system to let me know that it wasn't working. So I will know whether it was working or not and then email everyone that you have an extension. But other than that, it is due on the date that is on the syllabus. Let's see. We want to make sure that you're doing your own work. Academic honesty is essential, and we want to make sure that all of your work is your own. If I notice that your work looks remarkably like someone else's, I will bring you into the school, and then you will get zeros for all of the work that you have done that has looked like it's plagiarized or looks like it's actually cheating. If you have any documented disability or special learning need and want to request accommodations, please contact Ann Wilson. She is in room A317, and her extension at the college is 3960. She will work with you and then notify me of the accommodations, and I will work with you every step of the way. Student email. Make sure that you are looking at your student email. It's the only way that we communicate with you. I do not communicate with anyone who sends me email through their personal email or their business email. So please make sure you're using your student email to communicate with me. It is illegal for me to discuss grades with anyone but you. So in other words, if you were to ask me a question about your grade and you used a different email address, I have no idea who you are and where this is coming from. So I'm not allowed to give out that information. So if you have any kind of questions about anything, please make sure you're using your student email, and then I know it's you. All right, let's look at our tentative course outline. So this week we are doing the getting started activities, the class introduction, which you're doing right now, and the syllabus. You should read topic lesson 1. So make sure you read the entire thing. You should, before you do, while you're reading lesson 1, make sure you download from Blackboard under assignment 1 the first lesson so that you can go through the lesson while you're doing it. Please watch the video on how to do the lessons before you get started. So you're going to want to read that lesson, but you're going to also need some files to go through. So be sure to watch how to do the lessons video. So you're also going to log into SimNet. So you're going to get signed up on SimNet and then log in and start your work on lesson 1. All of this work is due January 20th. January 20th is a Sunday night. So I want all of your work in. All of your work is always going to be due on the Sunday night of that week. So you have an entire work week. It starts on Monday and you go through Sunday. I will be online on Sunday afternoons just to check to see if anyone had any questions. So don't panic if you have a big question on Saturday. I will answer an email by Sunday afternoon. Each week we just have another lesson. So lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. What I do want to point out on lesson 4 is that not only do you have your regular lesson that you would do in the skills review and the lesson applications, you also have a Unit 1 exam and a project on SimNet. Now I have a video on how to do an exam and how to do a project also in the orientation area. So you will have several videos on how to get your work done. Please make sure you watch each one. The exam and the project for Unit 1 does not come until lesson 4. But please make note of this week. February 4th through the 10th, you have more work than you normally would. And so you want to make sure on exam weeks and project weeks that you give yourself some extra time in this class. So lesson 5, lesson 6, lesson 7, and then week 8. Again, we have Unit 2 exam and Unit 2 project in SimNet. So you want to make sure that you leave yourself extra time the 4th through the 10th. We have spring break, the 11th through the 17th. Nothing is due. Yay! Lessons 9, 10, 11, and 12 when we get back. Again, note we have lessons, SimNet, skills review, lesson application, but then we have the exam and project. Now, we have a final project. It's assigned now, but it is not due until 5/5. So just be aware that I'm putting it out there so you can get a head start on it. But so it will show up in your learning modules, but it's not due until 5/5. But I don't want you to wait till the last minute to kind of get started on it because it's a big project. We have lesson 13, 14, and 15. There's the Unit 4 exam. There is no project due on lesson 15. You'll notice normally we have a Unit 4 exam and a project, but because we have a final exam due on the 5th and we have a final project due, I'm not going to have you do a lesson or a Unit 4 project. So Unit 4 exam, and final project are all due on 5/5, which is why I give you the final project. I assign it early so you can get a head start on it. All right, those are the due dates. Again, these are tentative, but we have to have everything in by 5/5 so I can give you a good grade before I leave. I am done here at the college on the 9th, so I do need to make sure I have got enough time to grade that week. All right, that's the syllabus, and so make sure you watch the videos under the orientation area on how to work on your homework, how to get in on SimNet, and then how to do exams and projects in SimNet. All right, thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.